Hello and welcome in, everyone. Welcome back if you're returning. If you're new here, my name is Brianna. Today's message is all about the square that's currently happening between Mars and Uranus and how the tension between these two planets may potentially be impacting our plans and routines. Now, this square energy has been building up to its peak for about a week, creating this underlying tension that some of us may have been feeling more intensely than others. We've been in this pressure cooker type energy, you guys, and you may have been feeling this like underlying background sense of urgency or like panic as if something could erupt at any moment. Well, today marks a critical point where Mars and Uranus reach maximum alignment. So this square energy has reached its peak, right? Mars and Uranus are squaring at 0 degrees. That's the tightest alignment, and something could quite literally pop off at any moment. We're at this critical turning point and it's generating a lot of energy, but this energy is Mars and Uranus, right? So it's chaotic, disruptive, challenging. There's a bunch of tension, and there may even be some triggering, right? Emotional triggering. There's a need for pause, and this pause energy came out in yesterday's moon message. This pause is not a punishment, right? I know that a lot of us here pause, slow down, and we automatically start panicking, right? This pause is not a punishment. It's a moment to gather ourselves, sort and process energies, identify resistance, and decide whether or not we want to keep going. We're going to talk all about this energy in this video, which I've broken down into 3 parts. Part 1 is the astrology, Part 2 is the challenge, and Part 3 is the support. At the end, I've pulled a few cards to tie the message together, but let's go ahead and get started with the astrology. So, we have Mars in Aquarius square Uranus in Taurus. Let's talk about Mars briefly. Mars is the warrior planet, right? And the tarot, Mars is the energetic force that strikes the tower. Again, this strike is not a form of punishment, but the strike is to liberate the aspects of ourselves that are trapped within the tower. Let's think of Shrek and Princess Fiona, right? From the movie Shrek, the highest room in the tallest tower, right? The princess represents an aspect of yourself, whether it be your authenticity, your desire for love, change, growth, whatever, or a younger, wounded version of yourself. The princess is a feminine, spiritual aspect of yourself trapped in this tower. The tower represents a structure, a program, karma, trauma, or some kind of system that's kept this aspect of you confined, small, or limited, right? Now, Mars is Shrek. Mars is the masculine force that demolishes the tower to free the princess. If you remember that movie Shrek, Shrek was just starting fires, creating earthquakes, just tearing things up to free the princess, right? So Mars is creating these fires and earthquakes to bring the structure down. For Princess Fiona, this was just chaos and complete madness. So this energy may be overwhelming, but the chaos is ultimately working in your favor, right? Now in the tarot, the Fool, which represents the beginning of a brand new journey, that energy is represented by Uranus. But Uranus is actually the energy that unfolds right before the Fool reaches the cliff. If we think about the Fool card in the tarot, it's a depiction of a young person standing at the edge of a cliff, getting ready to embark on a new journey. So Uranus is the energy that unfolds right before the Fool reaches the cliff. So Uranus creates the circumstances that align the fool with the cliff, or the circumstances that align us with the path, right? Uranus is divine intervention and wild card energy. It's another masculine force disrupting our plans so that the divine's plan or God's plan or your soul's plan can manifest. So we have Mars squaring Uranus at 0 degrees. Now remember, this is the tightest alignment, right? So the energy between these two planets are working together at maximum capacity. So it's like friction, 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 fire, or like tick, 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 boom, right? And the boom can occur at any moment. The key to successfully navigating this energy is the Queen of Cups. And I feel like this energy may have come out in yesterday's moon message. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and look. But the Queen of Cups is emotional clarity, balance, grace under pressure, and this intuitive understanding that the earthquakes and the lightning strikes are occurring to set you free, right? So it's divine understanding. And what I find fascinating is that Mars is at the final degrees of Aquarius, right? Aquarius is the energy that represents the most pure, authentic, and unique parts of ourselves. Aquarius in the tarot is the star, and the star represents our soul's highest aspirations or our highest potential, reaching our highest potential. It's the energy of self-actualization through the embodiment of truth and authenticity, right? So Mars is in the final degrees of Aquarius, and before Mars leaves Aquarius and enters Pisces on March 3rd, which is the day of the South Node lunar eclipse, by the way, Mars is destroying all of the structures, the systems, the programs, the karma to liberate our Aquarian energy. So Mars is kicking up a storm at the end of Aquarius, right? And he has Uranus's full support. So let's get into the challenge. We're challenged by Chiron and Aries making a sextile to Mars and Aquarius. So this aspect is making us vulnerable to painful emotional triggers. Remember that Chiron represents our soul's deepest wound. It's our soft spot, right? It's our sensitive areas. So the energy between Mars and Chiron, a sextile is a harmonious aspect, right? There's little to no interference here. So the energy between Mars and Chiron are kind of like ping-ponging back and forth. And Mars may be intentionally or unintentionally activating or reactivating old wounds. And this activation or reactivation is another opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to identify limitations and restrictions so that we can work alongside this energy to move ourselves into alignment, right? We also have Chiron forming a tense square to the moon in Cancer. This aspect is heightening our sensitivity to past pains, old wounds, and emotional fears. Some of us may be feeling this energy more intensely than others. Some of us may be completely overwhelmed by this Chiron energy, and for others of us it may be more subtle. I actually felt this energy last night, right? It snuck in. It was quick. It came in quick, like this deep fear around something that I really want. And I was able to identify and dispel it, rebuke it almost immediately. But it was described to me as like split realities or two distinct timeline potentials. So it's like heaven or hell, love or fear, dharma or karma, or like harmony or dissonance, right? So we have a choice. There's a crossroads here where we have to choose between heaven or hell, right? Love or fear. We have to choose between a reality that feels pleasurable, harmonious, and aligned with spiritual purpose, and one that feels harsh and scary and maybe even a bit hopeless, right? So, in this energy, at this critical moment, we have to consciously choose healing and freedom over fear and trauma. And to make this choice, we have to pause, right? That's why the pause is so crucial. Again, not as a form of punishment, but as an opportunity for us to gather ourselves and sort, right? Sort the data, sort the energy, distinguish the truths from the lies, and align ourselves with a frequency of certainty, right? This is what I want to do. This is the direction I choose to move my energy into, right? So, let's move on to the supporting energies. The energies supporting us at this time are the moon's conjunction with Jupiter in Cancer and the sun's conjunction with the north node of fate in Pisces. So, the moon is making a conjunction to a retrograde Jupiter in Cancer. They're together, they're sharing energy, swapping data, and communication. So, Jupiter is helping us feel more emotionally abundant, blessed, and hopeful. Jupiter is sharing big feelings of comfort, support, and faith with our emotional subconscious. So, while Mars may be triggering our soft spots, poking our sensitivities, we have Jupiter providing this soothing energy, like a soothing balm, that's comforting us on a deep subconscious level. And I feel like if we can turn our focus towards this energy, this feeling of comfort, support, and just faith that everything is working out in our favor, if we can turn our focus towards this energy, then the chaos and the conflict, the tension, it's going to subside, it's going to be diminished, right? When we take our focus away from it and place our focus somewhere else, then whatever has our focus gets bigger, right? It grows, and whatever loses our focus gets smaller. So we also have the sun making a conjunction to the north node in Pisces. Remember that a conjunction is just when two planets are very close together. So the sun is with the north node of fate and destiny, and the sun is activating or energizing our fate and destiny. And you're destined to win, right? Not because of luck or being chosen or anything like that, but because our soul's blueprints are designed for victory, each of us, right? Our higher self wants us to win. Before we incarnate, we create this blueprint, this plan that is designed around a victory of some sort. All we need to do as avatars, right? Human avatars, is find alignment, find our way into alignment with that victory, and stay in alignment as cosmic energies and gateways shift open and close, right? And you've already done the work to align with this win. You've done this work in a previous cycle. So, in terms of the universal law of karmic cause and effect, this win is rightfully yours, right? And now the results of the work that we've already done are moving into our realities, right? Cosmic forces such as fate, destiny, and divine intervention are actively working to bring us our results, whatever those results may be, right? Some of us are receiving positive karma for positive choices and actions. Some of us are receiving negative karma for negative choices and actions. And some of us are receiving the same, right? There's no change, there's stagnancy, because in a previous cycle we chose not to make a choice, we chose not to do the work. So there's just another repetitive cycle coming up for some of us. All we have to do is stay in alignment with the choices that we've already made, right? Stay in alignment with the destiny or the desired outcome that we want to receive. But even if you stray, right? Even if you move out of alignment, circumstances will readjust to guide you back, because cause and effect, right? By divine decree, the universe is programmed to deliver our results, right? To deliver the results of our actions, deliver the rewards or the consequences for our choices, right? It's already programmed, it's already locked in. So, this looks like miraculous occurrences, right? Things happening outside of our control, unexpected outcomes, positive turns of events, situations that seem to be going wrong, but they're ultimately leading us to favorable outcomes and results, right? All you do is win. All you do is win no matter what, and it's beyond your control. Keep that mindset. All I do is win, 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 no matter what, right? And there's nothing that I can do about it, because the universe is programmed to deliver the results of my actions. And unseen forces will continue shifting things around to align me with this win, right? So let's move on to the tarot. I did pull some cards. The cards that came out are the Four of Wands, the King of Pentacles, the Six of Swords, and the Three of Pentacles. Now, the Four of Wands is root chakra energy, and it represents a solid, stable, and unshakable internal or spiritual foundation. It's a number 4, so it's the 4 pillars. This is going to represent like order, balance, harmony, solidity, stability. So the Four of Wands is going to be a solid spiritual foundation. Now, this foundation has already been cultivated by you in the past. You've already done the work to build this foundation with your choices and actions, right? So this foundation is made up of your desire to change and grow, your sovereign ability to choose your own path, and your hope and enthusiasm for your future. So together, the Four of Wands and the King of Pentacles are serving as a reminder that you've already done the work to build a strong foundation, right? This foundation is now acting as like a launching pad, a springboard for your continued growth and this impending success that the universe is trying to deliver to you. And nothing can stand in the way of this, right? Even if something is attempting to oppose this success, the universe will move around it or move you out of the way of it so that it can deliver your results, right? So we have the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is mastery and action. The King of Pentacles sits at the top of the mountain, right? He's already won the game. He's already been through all of the levels, the wands, the swords, the cups, right? And now he's at the top of the mountain. He's the last king in the deck, and he represents mastery, right? So stay steady, stay calm, and stay grounded as if you've already won the game, right? After the Four of Wands is the Five of Wands, and this indicates that you will encounter friction, opposition, and conflict. But remember, you're the King of Pentacles, right? You're the master of this game. You've already won the game. You've already done the work. Now you're just moving towards your results, right? Meeting the universe halfway. So you have the ability to navigate challenges and obstacles masterfully, right? You have the knowledge, you have the wisdom, the expertise to move around obstacles and challenges to meet the universe halfway, right? So the last two cards are the Six of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. So the Six of Swords and the Three of Pentacles speak about evolution, evolution of consciousness, and transitioning from difficult situations into new roles, right? It's moving away from the Five of Swords, which is conflict and maybe even like psychic attacks, moving away from psychic attacks into a new role. You will soon be investing your energy and effort into some kind of new project or assignment, right? It's new work. It may not be like a earthly job, but it's like a spiritual role, right? You're going to be working on a new project, your energy is going to be used in a new way. And this project, it's going to be different for each of us, but you'll be able to recognize it or identify it by the way it makes you feel. It's going to be something that lights you up and enlivens your spirit, right? So we have a window of opportunity. It's either open now or it's about to open. And this window of opportunity, it's requiring swift action and forward movement. Now, how do you take swift action and move forward? You do so by pausing and consciously choosing where to direct your energy, right? It's like guiding the energy, the King of Pentacles, guiding your resources, your life force energy into your desired reality, no matter what's going on around you, right? The chaos, the explosions, maybe even some people attempting to trigger you or psychically manipulate your mind or your emotions, right? You consciously choose the direction of your energy. Okay? That's all I have for this message, you guys. Thank you all so much for being here, and I'll see you all in the next one.